Hey guys, welcome back. Orbomb here, bringing you another one of our reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing the Miracle Twins set, as well as some gym promos, and we got the translation for some new cards in the Espeon and Umbreon tag team decks that we have in Japan, which are pretty much all these cards are expected to be coming out in our Unified Mindset in a few months. So we're going to be covering all these cards today. Before we end the video, don't forget to drop a like. It's always greatly appreciated, especially since it's a set review video. I know these videos get a lot less likes, but I need you guys to leave in the comments down below because I'm going to try to make this video kind of brief because I have to go to work. So, but I want you guys to let me know in the comments down below if there's any cool combination you think there might be in the set that maybe I missed, or if there's a card you're really excited about. Let me know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to check out our sponsors at Guardian Gaming as always. Remember, if you leave a like and a comment, you have a chance to win a couple of codes thanks to them, as well as a we have booster boxes. This is, I guess we can add this to the whole like leaving a comment in all of our videos for Unbroken Bonds, because why not, right? If you leave a comment here, it can count for the booster box giveaway. We actually upped the Guardian Gaming, lovely enough, because you guys have been so lovely to them, have upped the amount that you get off from 5% to 10% if you use code ORBOMB at checkout. So that's really cool to me. Also, they guarantee us 2 boxes every set. So that's what they said. They're going to up the deal for us, which is really exciting. But anyways, let's go ahead and go over this. I'm going to look at all the artworks, but for the most part, if it's not worth talking about to me, I'm not going to talk about it because I do have to get to work and there's a lot of cards to talk about. So let's go ahead and get right into it. First things first, Mew. If you guys don't know, Mew is, I think, my 3rd favorite Pokemon. It goes Togekiss, Lucario, Mew, and then Latios and Latias. Although I do consider Latios and Latias like the same, and then like right below that is Ninetales. So I'm really excited about this. Any card that has Mew in it that I can play is always really exciting for me. But let's go over this card. We got Yanma. Yanma has always been, for some reason, like I've always liked Yanma. Maybe it's just because Gen 2 was one of my favorite games growing up, because it was the game I played the most. And Yanmega is really cool to me as well. It does have Air Slash for a triple energy, which is something to keep in mind, because that means if we ever have some grass weak stuff that's worth taking knockouts on, Yanmega is right here. Discard an energy attached to this Pokemon, which is fine because you discard the triple energy attached to it. So something to keep in mind. Another Ditto target. Celebi, another one of my favorites in my top 20 for sure. Time Spiral, devolve one of your opponent's evolved Pokemon by having them shuffle the highest stage of evolution card on it into your opponent's deck. Could be useful, especially with the lack of, because this, you got to keep in mind, this is all for post rotation talk, and as far as we know right now, with the lack of search, we know what we should do. Actually, I'm gonna do what Omnipoke does and what a lot of the YouTubers done to do and talk about the items first, because that could actually matter. But with the lack of search, this could be pretty useful in its own right, like a nice old tech. Psycho Trip 20 damage, your opponent's Pokemon is not confused. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the items first, because that feels like the most efficient way to do it. I'm going to start from the bottom up. We have a couple reprints. These are alternate arts, so they don't really matter. So something to keep in mind, but Pokegear already getting an alternate art, pretty interesting. Palpad, I love Palpad, so it's pretty cool. All right, let's talk about these energies. Okay, weakness energy, weak guard energy is pretty cool. This Pokemon, this card is attached to has no weakness, so it's a new weakness policy in a sense. Not as good because it takes up your attachment for the turn, but it can't be blowered away. And we don't have any energy disruption, so this is like a stays there kind of card. Although we do lose Blower, to be fair. So, but Lysander Labs is the thing, right? So Lysander Labs can't turn off this weak guard energy, so that's pretty cool. Speaking of new stadiums, I'm really excited about this. I love fossils. I love playing cards like what's that one? Tyrantrum. Tyrantrum was one of my favorite like fossil decks to play ever. So it's cool that we have this. This is called Pokemon Research Lab. Once during each player's turn, that player may search for their deck for 2 cards that evolve from unidentified fossil and play them onto the bench. So you don't actually have to. So it's really cool. It's just another consistency booster when it comes to playing fossil decks. You can play the fossils and you can play the Pokemon Research Lab, so you can play both rare candies, the basics, and the stage ones, or you can play rare candies, the stage ones, which are the ones that you're grabbing here, and the stage 2s, and rare candies, and you can essentially chain your Pokemon a lot easier. Not to mention, this helps you get like Pokemon that don't need to evolve twice, like Aerodactyl. So it's a really cool card. Slumber Forest, flip 2 coins instead of 1 for a sleep Pokemon between turns. Pretty interesting, but not overall exciting. Blue Strategy, another interesting card. I don't know, it might be good post rotation. I don't know really. I'd have to test it. But when the turn is over, draw until you have 8 in your hand. There's a lot less disruption with Marshadow gone, but there is still Judge, and people will find Judge. So It could be good. I mean, ending your turn with 8 in your hand is not bad, but not being able to play those cards on that turn is pretty lame. So, but you know, he's a cool character, so we'll see. Chandler, remove all effects of attacks on you and your Pokemon. So it's a reprint of Pokemon Ranger, but on your side. That could be really strong if we have any crazy effects. Like these are the kind of cards that you play for item lock and whatnot. So it's really interesting. Like if you're playing against Toads, if you're playing against Seismitoad and Expanded, you can play Chandler and it removes all effects of the attacks. So that's pretty interesting. I guess it's something to keep in mind. Misty's Request, search your deck for up to 3 support cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. I like this card a lot, just because it pairs really well with some Lusamine Loop into green strategy combinations. I find that I was playing Gardevoir Sylveon the other day, right? I was playing it actually yesterday in a tournament, and I found that if you want to play like Lusamine Loop to get Lieutenant Surge and Lusamine back into your hand. So you play Lieutenant Surge and you get Lusamine and Lieutenant Surge back into your hand, and then you have to play another supporter, right? And then you can loop the Lieutenant Surge and the Lusamine and then get whatever supporters back. But what supporters do you play for turn? Because they have to be in your hand already, kind of thing. It's also really handy for decks that don't want to play Steven to search for supporters. So I find that there are some decks that play Steven to just get 3 supporters into the hand, and then Misty's Request takes care of that without having to end your turn. So I like this card. I think I might grab it for like maybe a 1 or 2 of, just to literally like give you a nice supporter, like a handful of supporters and options you can use for future turns. Especially combined with Lieutenant Surge, it's like grab any supporter you want from your deck and then use it that turn, and then you have 2 other supporters you can use later. It grabs you your Lieutenant Surge, grabs you greens, grabs you Lusamine, it grabs you a bunch of still cool stuff. So I do like this card a lot. So yeah, I'm actually really excited about this card. At first I was kind of like on the fence about it, but I talked myself into liking it. Excuse me for my voice being a little bit deep and gross. I don't know if it's gross or not, but I did just wake up and I am feeling horrible, and I have work today, so I'm not exactly excited. Anyways, more cards. Giant Bomb, it's a new tool. It's really interesting. If this Pokemon is attached to your active Pokemon and takes 180 or more damage, put 10 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. So it's like a tech for tag teams, right? That's really all I can think about. It's a tech for tag teams. You put them on your Pokemon, they attack you, and if they and then that puts them into a KO range. If they don't attack you, you're gonna put them into a KO range regardless. It does get discarded in the turn, just like the old Bursting Balloon. So I actually really like this card. We'll see how good it actually is. But it's a really nice tech. We got a reprint of Unidentified Fossil. Stadium Navigator, just a new way to search stadiums. To me, it's kind of like Electromagnetic Radar, where like if it's not guaranteed, I don't really care. Maybe if you're like a stadium-based deck, you could play a couple of these and just hope for the best, but it's just a timer ball for stadiums, right? Great Potion, I'm really excited about because it means that you could play bulky tag teams again. Not so much stall, because I don't really consider Gardevoir a stall deck, but without cards like Acerola and Max Potion, it's a lot harder to play these decks. But Great Potion is a step in the right direction. Obviously, if you play 2 of these, you're healing 100 from your tag teams. You also have access to Mixed Herb, which can heal 90 if you play 2 at the same time. So you have healing cards again in the format. So I do like the Great Potion for that reason. And now we're back to the Pokemon. Now we'll go back to the top and continue with where we were. So something to keep in mind, because if we run into Fossil Pokemon or any other relevant Pokemon, it is nice to keep those tool cards in mind, right? So we got a new Shroomish with the old artwork. It's pretty cool. Sawaddle. So Sawaddle, I hear Sawaddle's cool. Switch your deck with 2 Sawaddle and put them onto your bench. Shuffle your deck afterwards. So that's pretty nice if Leaf Annie's good. Sawaddle here. Okay, yeah. Any damage on 2 Pokemon by attacks is reduced by 10. Okay. Alright. Swadloon. Any damage on this Pokemon by attacks is reduced by 30. Okay, so damage reduction. So this one lets you search for 2 Sawaddle, right? I kind of like this the most because like it just gets you a bunch of Swaddle down. But it depends if there's any good Leavanny. Let's see what Leavanny does. Your grass Pokemon take 40 less damage from your opponent's attacks. That's pretty interesting. You can only use this one tailored wrap ability. Okay, it's okay. If there's any good grass decks in the future, it could be worth playing. Like Buzzmosa with this and a weakness energy, so you're not weak to Charizard or Reshizard. So pretty interesting. Do I like it? Probably not, because if you play this, you can't play green. But it's still good nonetheless, right? We'll see what happens. It all depends if we can make that deck consistent, even with fire in the format. Fungus and Amoonguss. Spread Spore. Once during your turn, when you play a Pokemon with a Spore attack from your hand onto your bench, your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep and poisoned. So that's cool. So you have to play from your hand onto your bench. So we just need more Spore Pokemon. I mean, it could be cool, but I mean, the added poison damage is pretty strong. I mean, being able to just play down a Pokemon. If we have any good Spore Pokemon, this could be a cool thing to throw into that deck. Psyduck and Slowpoke GX. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at that power couple. Look at that power couple. Tossing Splash, 40 damage. Discard any number of support cards from your hand. Attack does 40 damage for each card discarding this way. That's probably an attack you're never going to use. I mean, in theory, you could pair this with cards like Misty and just get a bunch of supporters into your deck. But, I mean, like, we've had cards like Chandelure before that does each damage for each supporter in discard pile and stuff like that, and it just doesn't feel like it ever does enough. Not to mention you want to use your supporters, and we'll see what happens though. It's still a pretty bulky card with a pretty decent attack. Excitement Time GX, 10 damage. Flip a coin. This attack does 100 more damage. If you have at least 6 extra energy attached to this Pokemon, flip 10 coins and there's 100 damage for each head. So in theory, you should be doing crazy OHKO numbers. It seems like an instant fit into Quagnag just for the GX attack. You have both this and Wailord now. Wailord being able to attack the bench and destroy weak benched Pokemon, while this can take huge OHKOs at the right time. I like that. I think it's pretty cool. So I guess you can just shove this into Quagnag. Other than that though, I don't really see this deck being super great. Like, you have access to Misties. I guess theoretically you have access to Green too. If you want to play it like the Lieutenant Surge. Like, if you want to play it the quad way. We don't have any sort of water energy acceleration anymore, but it's just 2 attachments. So it shouldn't be that bad. 2 attachments, and then you probably play like cards like Mischievous. You go behind on prizes, and you just use like Lieutenant Surge, Misty, and get 6 supporters into your hand. Not to mention any supporters you've had beforehand, and that is like 6, 12, 18. That's 240 damage. It's not bad actually, but is it great? I'm not too sure, because there's no way to accelerate water energy, so you can't chain this as easily. And if you take damage, you're probably gonna get OHKO'd in the following turn, which means it's pretty good versus like other tag team decks. But I don't know. We'll have to see in the future. Lapras, once during your turn, you may search your discard pile for Missy's request, show it and put it into your hand. So obviously this works, but like this works in this deck, but then you can't play cards like Green. So I guess you don't really need to play Green. In theory, you just have to like be able to search the Misties relatively quick, like turn 1. And our only way to really do that right now is Pokegear. So I don't know. I mean, it could be cool though. It's like you don't have to Lieutenant Surge for 2 Misties anymore. You can Lieutenant Surge for Lieutenant Surge, play 1 Misty, and then use the Mermaid Call to play another Misty, which means that you can get more supporters into your hand. So it's something. I know we'll have to definitely build this deck when it comes out and see if we can make anything work out of it. Finneon and Luminion. Neon Trick, 50 damage. You may move an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon to one of their bench. That's pretty strong. It's a pretty strong attack, but it's only 50 damage, so not super great. Basculin, Group Devour. The attack does 20 damage times the number of Basculin you have in play to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So in theory, you could do 80 damage. It's not bad. 80 damage to the bench for 1 energy is pretty good. Also to the active, that's hits for weakness. But we don't have Choice Band anymore, so it's kind of like whatever. Tackle does 10 damage, whatever. Actually, we have that Normalium Z, right? So Tackle is pretty useful because you have that GX attack option. Okay, Tortuga. Oh, we're gonna get Caracosta. Oh, cool, I like Caracosta. Caracosta has always been up there as one of my favorite fossils. As long as this Pokemon is in play, each of your opponent's Pokemon tool cards have no effect, so it's Tool Lock. Pretty interesting. Aqua Impact, 80 damage, attack does 20 more damage for each color in the retreat cost of your opponent's active Pokemon. For fighting energy, I guess it's just like a water Pokemon in a fighting deck if you're playing fossils. So, I mean, for that sense, it's pretty strong. Reshizard has believe a 3 retreat cost, I believe. So to hit for an extra 60 damage means you're hitting them for 140, which technically does OHKO Reshizard. So if you're playing a fossil deck and worried about Reshizard, I guess there's a Pokemon for you right here, because I'm assuming you're gonna play most fossil decks with fighting energy. Also, if you're playing fossil decks and you've already used up your stadium, essentially, you can switch it up to that fighting dojo card, and that can let you do even more damage with your Pokemon that have basic fighting energies on them. So that's pretty interesting. If fossil decks become really, really strong, this is a pretty nice thing to throw in there. Dupiter, and Araquanid. 80 damage during your opponent's next turn. The cost of the defending Pokemon's, as well as his retreat cost. The cost of each of the defending Pokemon's attacks, as well as the retreat cost, is increased by 1 for 80 damage. It's not bad. Wimpod and Golisopod. I heard people like this Golisopod. I mean, the artwork is pretty cool. If this Pokemon has 2 or less energy attached to it, it has no retreat cost. Pretty nice. It has a 4 retreat cost, so it's pretty handy. First impression, 120 damage. If this Pokemon is on your bench and became an active Pokemon, does 60 more damage. So you can hit for 180 for 4 and 3 energy. Is that good? I don't think that's good. I don't like that. I don't like that. I guess it's cool and like expanded. And like the expanded Golisopod, like Zoropod, and then you play like the rainbow energies on your Wimpods, and then on the turn you want to use a water type first impression, you can just throw a triple energy on it. Is that good though? I don't think it's good. I'm sure there's other better water options that you could play in that deck, so I don't like it. Joltik and Galvantula. We have a Galvantula that can search items out of your discard pile. Buzzing Thread is attack does 2 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Apply weakness and resistance even to the bench Pokemon. Okay, it's alright. Like, the worst part is though that this doesn't even knock out Zapdos. Ooh, sorry about that, guys. It doesn't even knock out Zapdos because it's still 10 damage short, even with weakness. So it's like whatever. Tynamo, and then Tynamo. Lots of Tynamos. Weird looking Pokemon for sure. Search your deck for lightning energy attached to this Pokemon. Alright, cool. Electrike, Overspark. Discard all lightning energy from this Pokemon. Attack does 30 damage for each card discarded. Alright. That's actually not bad. It's a stage 1 though. It'd be cool if this was a basic. It has 90 HP. We have like Zeraora that can do this much damage, except it's 50 times, so it's like whatever. And then Electros. If this Pokemon is in your hand and you have 4 lightning energies to play, you may use this ability. Put this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench. If you do, you may remove as many lightning energy from your Pokemon to this Pokemon as you like. So it's kind of like Coco, but it doesn't move itself to the active, and it's easy enough to get 4 energies into play if you play Pikarom. Hover over 130 damage during your post extra, and the effect Pokemon can't retreat. It has really nice damage output too. So maybe you can just throw this as a one-of into your Pikarom deck, and then you have a pretty decent non-GX attacker. Doing 130 damage is definitely not bad. And you have 150 HP. So I like this card. I think it's really strong in Pikarom. I think you just shove it in there as a non-GX attacker that isn't Zapdos, and then you have a more consistent hitting Pokemon that can hit 130. That's a pretty good number. Tapu Koko, Electro Ball, and Nature Dive. 100 damage if your post-active Pokemon is an Ultra Beast. Attack does 100 more damage, then discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. Another decent card for if you want to beat Ultra Beasts. Ultra Beasts are like going to be one of the stronger decks after rotation, because Ultra Space is like the immediate Ultra Ball counter, and then you have Mysterious Treasure for Nagas. So I like Koko. I think it's pretty strong. And then you have, whenever that new Dragon Naganadel comes out, which I think that deck is going to be pretty good, you have Treasure for that as well. So I think it's a pretty cool card to be able to throw this into decks. Do you throw this into Pikarom though? I don't think so. Sure, you can attack for 2 energies with the Thunder Mountain out, and it's easy enough to get it set up with the Tapu Koko Prism, but it's only 200 damage. You can hit 200 damage with other cards without having to go through all the shenanigans. But it's, I mean, maybe. We'll have to see in the future if it's worth playing. Mewtwo and Mew GX, this is a cool card. 270 HP, Psychic type Pokemon, pretty bulky. Weak to Psychic, which could be a problem. Psychic Mewtwo mirror matches. Perfection. This Pokemon can use the attacks of any GX and EX on your bench or in your discard pile, but you need the necessary energies to attack. So this is like literally throw this into any GX deck, right? Is that how this is working? Any GX deck that doesn't mind using abilities would not mind this deck. Would not mind this card. It's very, very bulky with 270 HP, and you already have the necessary energy because you play that GX deck. So it doesn't really work in tag team decks because obviously you need a bunch of fairy energy. Not fairy energy. It doesn't work in Green's deck because you need a bunch of non-ability things, but in other decks it's pretty cool. So I like it. It's pretty strong. Miracle Twin GX, 200 damage. This Pokemon has at least 1 extra energy attached to it. Heal all damage from each of your Pokemon. Pretty nice GX attack, I guess. I mean, healing is kind of scarce post-rotation, so I like it for sure. But it does require the Psychic energy, so this is like one of those GX attacks that are very deck-specific. Is this good in Malamar? It depends if there's a good enough. I guess you could like throw this. You could play this in place of like Ultra Necrozma. Like, you could use this in place of Ultra Necrozma because it's just more HP, but of course it is a tag team. We have a pretty decent GX attack as well, so. But Ultra Necrozma's GX attack is like what's so good about it, right? We'll see. Execute and Executor, psychic types, pretty nice. Mind Bend, your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. Judgment, discard your hand and you do 180 damage. Not bad, but not great. Jinx, once during your turn, you may move a damage counter from one of your Pokemon to another one of your Pokemon. That's a pretty strong effect, because you can do that 4 times if you have 4 Jinx down, but we'll have to see if there's any cool combinations that come with that. I can't think of any off the top of my head, besides, like, I guess Spear Tomb. But you need 4 down, and I mean, you don't need 4 down. You can just play like 2 or 3 and move like 2 or 3 damage counters between turns, but for the most part, it's alright. We'll have to see if there's any cool combinations. I feel like that card has a lot of potential. Why Not here? Another baby. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin of heads, choose 1 card from your opponent's hand without looking. Your opponent reveals that card and shuffles it into their deck. Oh, that's really strong. That's like one of the better babies because it disrupts your opponent, and being able to disrupt your opponent when you're not attacking is pretty good. I like that. Latios GX, once again, I talked about how my top 5 Pokemon are, and I love Latios. If you have 4 less Pokemon in play, this Pokemon can't attack. So it's essentially Screaming Malamar, right? Tag Purge, 120 damage during your opponent's next turn. The Pokemon can be damaged by attacks from tag team Pokemon. So, beautiful attack. Yeah, I like this attack a lot. Post rotation is going to be really strong because there's no Guzma. I don't know if Escape Rope stays in format. It might, but I'm pretty sure there's no Guzma. We have Custom Catcher, so they can like Guzma twice in theory. But that's about it. So, if they only Guzma you twice and they only target some non-GX Pokemon, then this card can just stick in the active and just use Tag Purge over and over and over again until your opponent loses. So I love this Pokemon right here. It's essentially an auto loss to any quad deck, which is very scary for me. Clear Vision GX until the end of the game, your opponent can't use GX attacks. Okay, it's a really good GX attack against the right decks. There's some decks that kind of rely on their GX attack. So being able to use Clear Vision GX against decks like Guardian and like Pikarom, because you don't want Pikarom to hit your bench. Although you could just play Mew against Pikarom. And you could play Clear Vision against Reshizard and then immediately stop them from being able to OHKO your dude because they can't use their GX attack to OHKO you. But then if you use this, they can attack you because you're not using Tag Purge. So it's I mean, I guess it's not super great versus Reshizard then. Never mind, forget I said that. 170 HP, but it has free retreat, which is really nice, but 170 HP is pretty low. So if they play any non-GX options, then it's pretty easy to KO this thing. But it's a pretty cool card nonetheless. It does like Scream auto win against some decks, so I like it. Skorupi and Elgian. Oh, Skorupi. Oh, Draco must be a dark type. Okay, that's why. Bug Bite for 40 damage. Whatever. Elgium and Behemoth. Alright, cool. Side Punch, Mysterious Noise, 90 damage. Shuffle this Pokemon, all cards attached into your deck. Your opponent can't play any item cards from their hand during their next turn. Okay, that's not bad. To me, this kind of screams that Oranguru, you know, Oranguru, Zebstrika, Shedinja deck? This kind of screams that deck to me because you just play down like a couple Behemoths or a couple Elgiums, and then you kind of play your deck down to 0, and then you consistently use Behemoth, Mysterious Noise, shuffle back in the triple energy, the Elgium Behemoth, that's 3 cards right there, and then you draw them all with Zebra, and then you attack and shuffle those 3 cards back, and then you use Zebra, attack, shuffle them back, and you're doing 90 damage, so it's actually pretty relevant damage. And if they can't use items, and you have them in a pretty decent locked position, it could be good. Other cards that you could play this with is just like try your best to cycle it. It's kind of hard to cycle, but you do have Treasure, so you could probably cycle it a few times. We don't have Energy Lotto anymore, I think, so you can't search out the triple energy as easily, which is why the Zebra Oranguru thing idea comes into mind. But I mean, is it really that good? Because like in order for you to like pull off the Behemoth in like the Zebra deck, then it's probably going to be late game because obviously it takes you a few turns to empty your whole deck. So it could be okay. Do I think it's great? I don't really, but we'll see what happens. Honedge and more Honedge. So this is cool because we have Duskstone, right? Which means that we can evolve up to our into our Aegislash turn 2 if we have Doughblade down. Attack is affected by weakness resistance, whatever. Aegislash, if this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from your opponent's attack, put it into your hand. Discard all energy attached. Discard all cards attached to it. So it's kind of like Splash Energy, which is where this comes into play. Return. Okay, cool. So though you can turn the whole line back into your hand. Is it worth? For colorless energy, this attack does 10 damage for each item in your discard pile. You can't do more than 130 damage in this way. So you could have 13 items in your discard pile and be able to hit for 130. Psychic type attacker. It's okay. I mean, is it worth all the work? Maybe not, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. Necrozma. This attack does 30 damage, and you take 30 less damage from attacks. Okay. Special laser, 100 damage. This Pokemon has a special energy attached to it, does 60 more damage. So it can do 160. Meh. Meh. I mean, it's pretty strong as a non-GX attacker. You can just shove this into Malamar, but what special energies do you play in Malamar? Like Rainbow Energy? For like different types? I don't know. It's okay. Do I want to play this over Giratina? 130 HP. You have to use a special energy, which is why it's a little bit more difficult to pull off, but it's still pretty strong. Giratina is an infinite attacker unlike this, so I don't know if you play this over Giratina, maybe like beside it as a one-of, but that's about it. Onyx, pretty nice artwork. Bedrock Press, 20 damage during your opponent's next turn. Any damage on this Pokemon is reduced by 20. Meh, it's alright. Steelix, okay. Land Stream, attached to fighting a Dream and discard piles of this Pokemon. That's pretty nice. 220 damage, none of your Pokemon can attack during your next turn, including Pokemon newly brought into play. That's funny. But 220 damage from a non-GX is pretty strong. 170 HP is not bad either. But it's also 5 energy attached cost. But, you know, only 3? I don't know. We'll have to see. Aerodactyl GX. So a GX that you can bring down immediately thanks to the stadium. Pretty cool. I've always loved Aerodactyl, so it's pretty nice. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, the attack of your opponent's basic Pokemon costs a colors more. Pretty strong ability against some basic decks. It does have free retreat as well, so it's pretty handy. Rock Smash does 120 damage. Basic, I guess. Wild Dive GX, 50 damage, attacks 50 damage, times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. It could be okay. I don't know if it's great, but it's definitely not bad. Heracross. Ring Reversal. If your opponent uses a GX attack during the last turn, shuffle their active Pokemon and all cards attached to it into their deck. Wild. Whoa, that's a really cool attack, actually. I actually really like that, because if Pikarom uses their GX attack against you, you can just shuffle it right back into the deck. Same with Reshizard. That's a nice little attack you can throw into decks. That's really cool. I like that a lot. How do you search it out, though? That's the hard part, right? But, oh, it also has Tackle, so that's another Pokemon you can use that Z Crystal on. Alright, Breloom. So here's the Breloom we were looking for earlier. 120 damage, grass fighting type Pokemon you can use in grass type decks. It does have Spore, so something to keep in mind. And then Sleep Strike, if your opponent's active Pokemon is down sleep, this attack does 90 more damage. So that's pretty cool. Relicanth, Deep Sea Boring. Search your deck for a training card and put it into your hand. Water Pulse, okay. Drillbur and Excadrill. I'm just trying to look at the artworks here. See if there's anything interesting. Ooh, that's really cute. I like that. Rototiller. Choose 4 cards from your discard pile, show them to your opponent, shuffle them into your deck. That's pretty strong. I like that. Fighting Slash, that's 90. Okay. Archon. Oh, Archeops. That's another cool fossil. The 20 damage, flip 2 coins, seconds, 20 more damage for each heads, and then U-turn for 40, and Hyper Beam 80, discard energy for your opponent's active Pokemon. Oh, for a single energy, that's really strong. It's also a fighting type attacker you can shove into any type of deck if you're playing fossils. So that's really cool as well. So there's got nice little tech potential. Being able to hit for 80 is not bad, and discarding energy is also not bad either. Terrakion, the 50 damage. If all your bench Pokemon have damage counters on this attack, that's 150 more damage. So you don't have to have a full bench of damage Pokemon, you just have to have bench with only damage Pokemon. How do you get fighting DCE on there? Well, especially with no DC in format, I'm not too sure. Maybe you play this with Landorus, but then you have to damage the Landorus somehow. I guess you can play this with Jinx, right? And then you can move the damage counters from Pokemon to Pokemon. So I guess if you combine this with Jinx, it is definitely a possibility. You also still have Rainbow Energy. So maybe he plays with like a 1 of Spiritomb, 2 Jinx, a couple Rainbows. But you have to figure out a way to accelerate all the energies onto this dude, because it's actually a really strong attack. 200 damage. 200 damage for basic is pretty good, but the attack cost is a little bit ridiculous, to be honest. Unless we get a DC reprint, it's not looking like the best attack. Our first mega tag team, Mega Sableye Tyranitar GX. Greedy Crash, 210 damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a GX or EX, this is knocked out by damage from this attack. Take 1 more prize card. Pretty strong attack. My main concern with this card is I was talking to my friends about it, and I don't like it. I thought that because we saw this card forever ago, right? And I thought this card would be like really broken because in the set they would print some sort of way to accelerate energies onto this card, but they didn't, as far as I'm aware. So a 5 energy attack cost with 4 of them having to be dark, so you can't even use triple energy, is a little bit steep. Very, very, very steep. 280 HP isn't even like amazing for like it either, because we still have like 300 HP tag teams like Waylord. So it's okay, but how do you get all the energies on that thing? I'm not too sure. We have tag switch, so I think tag switch you can use like playing Nagas and stuff like that. But like that's still a lot of thing. I mean, 210 HP is good damage though. 210 damage is good damage. It doesn't actually OHKO tag teams, which is where the other issue comes into play, but it's still good damage. So we'll see. Gigafall GX is 250. If you have 5 additional energy attached to this Pokemon, discard 15 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. I didn't even remember that, guys. So if you have 10 energies attached to this Pokemon, you can discard 15 cards from your opponent's deck. So an instant like knockout. We just have to figure out a way to accelerate energies on this thing, and it's incredibly broken. I mean, a 15 discard is wild. That's absurd. At any point of the game, that's absurd. You're getting rid of like a third of your or a fourth of your opponent's deck. That's getting rid of so many options. So at any point in the game, this is a good attack, even if it doesn't win you the game that turn. It's just like, how do you get 10 energies on a Pokemon? Alright, Sableye, Mirror Gem. This Pokemon is damaged when attack. Put 8 damage cards on the attacking Pokemon. A good stall attack, I guess. Drapion, here's the Drapion we're looking for. Triple energy, pretty nice. 50 damage for flip 4 coins. Attack does 50 damage times the number of heads. If at least 2 of them are heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. It's alright. Purloin and Lightbird. Oh, what is this man doing? This man's out here thieving. Lightbird, Scratch, 40 damage, Shadow Nail, 90 damage during your opponent's next turn. Their basic active Pokemon can't use any attacks. That's very specific. It's okay. It's alright. Once again, how do you get all the energy attached to it? We just need double DCE back. I mean, with all the attacks that they're showing us, it kind of makes me think they're going to print DC very soon. But, I don't know. We'll see. Scraggy and Scrafty. Headbang, 20 damage. Attack does 20 more damage for each of your remaining prize cards. So what, for a DC you can hit 120, I guess. There's also no DC, so Yveltal, unlike the other, Yveltal does not have free retreat. 20 damage with the stadium play. Attack does 20 more damage for a dark, so 40 damage for a dark, not bad. Shadow Impact, 120 damage. Oh, Shadow Impact from like Giratina. Alright, cool. For dark colorless. Alright, interesting. Cottony and Whimsicott. New Whimsicott, new Cottony. This one has 60 HP, so it probably is worth playing. It also has Dust Gathering, which is strong. Whimsicott, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may search your deck for any one card and put it into your hand. So that's pretty strong. Not gonna lie. Get any one card out of your deck. You can throw this to a Whimsicott deck as a 1-of, so maybe a 2-of. We'll see. Because you can play with Ditto, right? So pretty cool. I like it. Dedenne. Adorable. Adorable. Return 20 damage. You may draw cards from your deck until you have 6 cards in your hand. Okay, not bad. I'd rather play this than blues, honestly. Agility, flip new Dratinis, because we have new Dragonites. Flip a coin if heads prevent all effects of attacks and damage. Always like agility, so it's pretty strong. Dratini, if this Pokemon has a water energy attached to it, this Pokemon has no retreat cost, 60 HP. Jump on, flip a coin if heads attack does 30 more damage. Alright. Dragonair, 100 damage. Hyper Whirlpool, discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon for a water, lightning, colorless. Dragonite, once during your turn, you may attach a water and lightning energy from your hand to your Pokemon any way you like. Pretty strong ability. Really, really strong ability. I like that a lot. Dragon Impact, discard 3 cards from your Pokemon. The attack's okay, but the ability is really strong. But it's also a stage 2, so you have to like get it up to stage 2. But it's a Dragon type, so you can search it out with Treasure. So it could be good. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what it pairs well with, but for the time being, it's alright. Dragonite GX has 250 damage, 250 HP, and has Dragon Claw for 130, so obviously you pair this with the other Dragonite because it has the attack cost. 270 damage, discard 3 energy from this Pokemon. Now that's what I'm talking about. Obviously you can only attach 3 energies per turn, so you can't do this all the time, but with access to triple colorless energy combined with the this ability right here, you can use it multiple times a turn. Not multiple times a turn, multiple turns in a row. Because you can just discard the triple energy. So I actually really like this a lot. 270 damage is so strong. That knocks out almost every tag team. So I love this card. All right, so the Dragonite is pretty good. I'll give you that. If you can accelerate all the Dragonites and get the rare candies, I guess you play this with like Ninetales or something like that. And if you can chain the triple energy pretty often, it's really, really strong. I like this card a lot. We're gonna have to try to build something with this. This 270 is just strong. You can attack with a non-GX against the non-tag team matchups, and against the tag team matchups, you can attack with this dude. And the triple energy works for both of them in theory, because you can discard the 3 triple energy from this Pokemon using triple energy and then attach the abilities. And if you have multiple of these a turn, you don't even have to do that every turn. You just have to get the energies into your hand every turn, which how do you do that? I'm not too sure. I don't know if that Rimbombi is still in format, but the Rimbombi that lets you search 2 energies from your deck to your hand every turn, it could be pretty useful. You also have access to Viridian Forest, and you have access to the energy spinner card. So you have access to a bunch of ways to search energies. So, but it's just more Pokemon, you know what I mean? So it could be good. It could be good. It's also like you can just use a draw supporter and like attach the energies when you find them, kind of thing. And let's see, mock delivery. Just draw a card from your deck until you have 10 cards in your hand. You may discard as many cards from your hand as you like before drawing. So that's pretty nice. As a GX attack for game, I'm not too sure because it's a stage 2. So by the time you already have this up, I'm not too sure how good this is going to be. Maybe against like Reset Stamp, where like if you're playing against Reset Stamp and they use it against you late game, you can just mock delivery. As long as you don't lose the game the following turn, it could be okay. Noibat and Noivern, more Dragon Boyos. 120 HP is pretty low. Boom Burst attacks with 20 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. It's another spread attack with a free retreater, so not bad for a single energy. It's not bad either. We'll see. Is it a Koko replacement? It could be. We'll have to see. Dragon Pulse, discard the top card from your deck, then tickle your opponent. Alright, something tells me that's not actually part of the text, but shout out to you, Pokebeach. It's pretty funny. Tauros does 110 damage. Search your deck for basic Pokemon, put it into your bench, then shuffle your deck. Okay. And Thrash does 10 damage to itself. Pretty vanilla. That artwork is way too epic, though, for a Tauros. Slack Off. Dude, shout out to Slack Off Community Day. The best one we've ever had. Lazy Call. During your opponent's next turn, if they attach an energy to the Pokemon affected by this attack, their turn ends. Okay, so if they attach an energy to their active Pokemon, they don't lose with their turns immediately over. All right, interesting. Slack. I actually like that the most. I think. I mean, how much HP does it have? 50. It's pretty low HP, but it's a really interesting attack. I do like it. Scratch. Boundless Power. 60 damage. This Pokemon can't use its attack during your next turn. I mean, that's some boundless power. Vigoroth 90 and Slash. Okay. Slack Off, slacking 180 HP, not bad. Strike Back. If this Pokemon is your active Pokemon is damaged by an attack, put 4 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon, not bad. Dynamic Swing, 100 damage. You may do 100 more damage if you do during your opponent's next turn. This Pokemon takes 100 more damage from your opponent's attack. So if you want to take like an instant KO, that's not too bad, but it's also a 4 energy attack also. You can always use Welder and stuff, so it's not the worst in the world, but I don't know if it's worth. Young Goose and Gumshoes. Any interesting artwork? There's a happy Young Goose and a excited Gumshoes. If your opponent's active Pokemon was a GX or AS, the attack does 30 more damage. Alright, this attack does 30. Oh, this attack does 30 damage instead? Oh, that's awful. Oranguru. Wise Interrogation. Choose a Pokemon card from your hand and put it face down. Have your opponent guess its type. If they guess correct, your opponent draws 4 cards from their deck. If not, you draw 4 cards. Return this Pokemon to your hand. An attack that draws you 4 cards, maybe. Although, if you're playing a type of deck, generally you're only gonna have like 2 or 3 types your opponent can guess from. So it's okay. It's just okay. Komala. If your opponent's active Pokemon if this Pokemon remains asleep during turns, put 6 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon. That's an ability. That's really cool. Oh, but it doesn't have an attack. It just has dozing. All right, never mind then. Forget I said anything. It's whatever. And that's it for this one, whatever this set's called. I already forgot. Miracle Twins. We also have to go over some gym promos and the new cards that are in here as well. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Another Caracosta GX, 250 HP. I like that. And once again, it's a fossil, so it's easy to get out there. If this Pokemon is at max HP, any damage under this Pokemon by your opponent's attack is reduced by 90. Huh. I like that. Ground Break, 160 damage. This Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. That's pretty strong too. How do you accelerate the energies is the biggest problem, but 160 is not bad, and the attack is not bad either, and the ability is really strong. So I like this Pokemon. Stone Age GX. Search your discard pile for any number of cards that evolve from unidentified fossil, and play them onto your bench. This would be really cool if it let you grab the stage 2s as well. Right now, this is kind of like whatever. Dragonium Z. So what you have to have the Dragon Claw attack. I don't know what has Dragon Claw, but Dragon Burn GX does 80 damage. Discard all basic energy attached to this Pokemon. This attack does 80 damage for each card discarded this way. So it's not bad. It's not great though. I mean, you can hit 240 if you have 3 basic energies attached to this Pokemon. I wonder if any of the Dragonites have let me double check the Dragonites, because it could be decent for the Dragonites as a better GX attack. Dragon Impact. Oh, this one does have Dragon Claw. Okay, I like it. Alright, I definitely like it, because that's a stronger GX attack than this. And you could load up a bunch of basic energies onto this thing and take another big OHKO. But is it better than Sky Judgment? Probably not. Like, there's only 2 Pokemon I can think of that have more than 270 HP. Wailord GX and the new Tyranitar. So it's probably not going to go in there right now until like maybe those cards see more play. We'll have to see what other Dragon Claw attackers are there. Swadloon, any damage to the Pokemon reduced by 30. So obviously we've seen these cards. These are just different artworks. Same with Execute, Brawler. That's Confront for 30. Okay. New Baby, Igglypuff. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin if heads your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. Okay, it's not bad. Alright, cool. So there's that. And then let's look at these Espeon and Umbreon. Espeon Deoxys and Umbreon Darkrai. I haven't actually talked about these cards yet, so we'll talk about these as well. This is about an hour-long video, and then I have to get ready for work. Oh boy. 260 HP, Psychic type Pokemon. Psycho Circle, 10 damage. Detect the 30 more damage for each times the number of Psychic Pokemon on your bench. Not great at all for a tag team. That's pretty weak. Cross Divide GX, put 10 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon any way you like. Not bad. Obviously, it's Espeon GX, but on a basic. If this Pokemon has at least 3 extra energy attached to it, put 20 damage counters instead. Now that's good. Putting 20 damage counters wherever you want on the board is really strong in Malamar. So for the GX attack alone, it's a pretty decent attack. It takes 5 energies, but 5 energies is not that hard to do. Actually, it takes 6 energies. But once again, not too bad to do if you can just give it a few turns. Also, this has DCE, but obviously we don't know if we're getting a reprint of that. These are just like Japanese decks, so don't mind this for like reprints. It's not going to be any reprints. But the attack doing 20 damage, and I guess it is still weaker than Necrozma, because Necrozma can do like up to 300, Ultra Necrozma that is, with his GX attack. But it's also 6 damage counters on each Pokemon, while if they don't have a full bench, it's definitely stronger because you can place them wherever you want as well. So it's pretty cool. Jirachi GX, new GX, 160 HP. If a Pokemon with a Psychic weakness receives damage from an attack, don't apply a weakness. Okay, I guess. Star Search, search your deck for an energy card and attach to one of your Psychic Pokemon. And Star Shield GX, 100 damage, prevent all effects of attacks including damage done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. This is just a weak card. It's not that great. Cresselia, or Aurora Gain, 60 damage, heal 30 damage from this 30 HP from this Pokemon, and Luminous Blade, 130 damage. Meh. Ooh, a Psychic type Salander I'll always take. A Salander that you can search for treasure is always pretty good. Even if you play the Fire type Salazzle, it's still not bad. And so I'll take that. 110 HP Salazzle. Alright. New Cosmog. Okay. With Splash. Umbreon and Darkrai GX, 270 HP, so more HP, pretty respectable HP number. Black Lance, 150 damage, detect the 60 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon GX or EX. Okay, not a bad attack. 150 and then 60 snipe is definitely not bad, but it's dark colorless, which is a little bit more difficult to pull off. Dead Moon GX, your opponents can't play any trainer cards from their hand during their next turn. If this Pokemon has at least 5 extra dark energy attached to it, your opponent's active Pokemon is now knocked out. That's really cool. The attack in itself is pretty strong because you stop your opponent from playing any trainers, which is never bad. But being able to knock them out immediately for 6 energies is not bad either. So I like this card a lot more. I think it's really strong. But you just have to figure out how you're going to accelerate energies once again onto these tag teams. Alolan Grimer, a new Dark Alolan Grimer with Collect. Murkrow, 70 HP. Honchkrow, Sharpshooting, detects 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Meh. Dark card for 60. Meh card. Sneasel. And Weavile GX. As often as you like during your turn, you may move a basic dark energy from one of your Pokemon in play to another one of your Pokemon in play. Once again, like, it's not really worth a tag team for an ability like that. It's only 1 energy per turn. Oh no, it's as often as you like during your turn. Okay. Alright, now we're talking. Okay, so you can play a 1 of Weavile and just get a bunch of Noggin Adels down. And just keep accelerating energies, manually attaching. Okay, I like this. This is pretty strong. All right, we're on to something. You just play like Naganadel with Weavile GX, move all your energies as often as you like per turn, and then accelerate. Okay, now all those Pokemon are worth talking about again. So so Mega Tyranitar is worth talking about it. Oh, this is really cool. And then Darkrai. All right. We're gonna have to definitely build something with this, like a 2/2 Weavile line, slashes whatever. Night Order. Search your deck for any number of basic Pokemon, put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. All right. So other than the ability, it's pretty worthless. But the ability makes it strong enough to where like you could play it on the right turns. And all right, cool. I like that. That's pretty strong. Right, so often as you like, you may move a basic Dark Energy from one of your Pokemon in play to another one of your Pokemon in play. So you just spend the whole game building up your Nagas nonstop, and then once the time has come and you have enough energies on the board, you just slap down one of these tag teams and then take a big knockout. All right, so okay, I like it. Cherish Ball. Search your deck for a Pokemon GX, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So just like a new search for GXs, it's not bad. It replaces Nest Ball in a lot of cases for a lot of different decks, and it's just only for GXs, which is the limiter, but it's definitely like Pokemon search is always welcome. That's all I can say. Hapu, look at the top 6 cards of your deck and put 2 of them into your hand, discard the rest of the cards. Is that good? I can't tell. That could be good. I mean, Bills is pretty good, but Bills as you get 2 items, you have to discard the rest of the cards, which could be really, 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 really bad. Especially since like a lot of the time your deck is built to be able to use most of the cards in your deck. I guess if you play a deck that wants like, oh, that could be cool for like, no, I can't think of anything. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say if there's a deck that wants specific cards in the discard pile and you play a lot of them, like if you want a bunch of energies in the discard pile or items or supporters or something like that, it could be nice, but other than that, I don't think I would play this card. I think there's just better options. Night City, all basic dark Pokemon in play have no retreat cost, so okay, all right. Well, that's all the cards, guys. Definitely the Weavile surprised me. I didn't know about the Weavile. If I knew about the Weavile, I would have talked more about the Tyranitar. But the Tyranitar is actually something worth talking about now, because being able to take extra prizes from attacks are pretty good. Of course, it is something to keep in mind, like Greninja Zoroark is still a thing, and if you have that much energy on the board, Greninja Zoroark just throttles everything. So like you could play like a dark toolbox kind of deck where you play a bunch of different tag teams that all have different uses. One for instant KOs, maybe you can play Gigafall GX for game. Greed Crash can take extra prizes on the right turns, and where are the other? Is there any other crazy dark type? Umbreon and Espeon is like really good early game because like being able to do 150-60 snipe could pair really, really well with Tyranitar, putting things in range of Tyranitar GX. And Dead Moon is not a bad GX attack as well because it takes an instant knockout as well as stops your opponent from playing item cards. So like you have a bunch of really strong like dark tag teams that can pair really well with like a Naganadel strategy to accelerate energies on the board. Of course, people are always going to argue Incineroar. I'm never going to argue Incineroar because I feel like Incineroar takes a lot more work to set up. You're already going to be setting up a bunch of, you have to set up both Weavile and the Incineroar. Incineroar requires Rare Candy, which takes up more deck space, which means less dark energies in your deck. You need as many dark energies in your deck as possible. I'd rather play a 4/4 line of Naga or even a 3/3 line of Naga with a bunch of treasures because those are really easy to search, especially post-rotation where we don't have Ultra Ball, so you can't exactly search the Incineroar very easily. So just for those of you that will be like, oh, you can play Incineroar, that gets you 3 per turn. And if you play a bunch, it gets you like 6, and you can do it all in 1 turn. Like, yeah, you can do it all in 1 turn, but if it takes you like 5 turns to get all those Pokemon onto the board, then that's on you, big dog. Without Ultra Ball, it's hard to search. Obviously, we have a Cherish Ball though, so it's pretty interesting in its own right. But then, how do you search out the Littens, and how do you search out the? It's all in all, I don't think it's that great. We don't have any way to search out basics like that anymore. I guess there's, I don't know. We'll see. I definitely like the Naga strategy more because you have Ultra Space, you have Treasure, you don't need Rare Candy. It's easy enough with discard cards like Treasure and stuff like that to get those energies in the discard pile. You can play Viridian Forest, get you more energies as well. I do like the Naga build a lot more. I always think it's more consistent. For those of you that are gonna tell, I have people all the time be like, you should play Incineroar, but it's like, I don't like Incineroar. It's just keep it that simple. Mega Sableye though, it's definitely worth talking about now. Anyways, I'm gonna end this video because it's been 50 minutes and I have to get ready for work because I leave in like 5 minutes. So I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to drop a like if you haven't already. And once again, as always, shout out to PokeBeat for being awesome and getting out these translations for us as quickly as they can. Shout out to you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.